warroomsports.com. Get that mobile app.
What's up, good people of War Room Nation, and welcome to another edition of A Few Good Minutes in the War Room, brought to you, of course, by War Room Sports. I'm one of your hosts this evening. I'm Devin. I got my man B. Austin in the house with me. All right, and for a few good minutes, we just want to talk about the latest news with the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, it's now officially official, that Mike Vick won't be back with the team in any capacity because he's just been signed by the New York Jets. And in addition to that, the rumors are heating up even more. At first, they were put to bed about the possible departure of Desean Jackson, but they're heating up again. From all accounts, it seems like the receiver himself is resigned to the fact that he won't be back. I'm hearing sources close to the situation saying that it's less than a 5% chance that he'll be back with the Eagles. We have some Eagles fans that are kind of in a tizzy right now because they're losing two of their favorite players. What are your thoughts on this situation, guys?
First, starting with Mike Vick, thank you for the 4 years. I've always gotten on you about your accuracy, your decision-making, and your intelligence, but at the end of the day, I appreciate the heart that you displayed on the field. I appreciate your growth, or the perception of your growth as a human being. I appreciate your professionalism, and just setting a great example and a great tone in the locker room for my Philadelphia Eagles. So shout out to you, salute to you, good luck in all your endeavors. I actually hope that you win the lottery and the Jets mess up on their contract and extend you to $5 million a week. And you don't play it down, but you just get money. So, that's my wish to you. We're not going to miss him that much. While a great backup is a good thing to have, I wouldn't necessarily call him great in any capacity at quarterback, but I think we'll be able to replace him. Some folks have even speculated that the Eagles should go after Sanchez as a backup because of what they saw with Barkley, but Vick, as I said, salute to you. Good luck in all endeavors. Godspeed. And on to Nick Foles, best quarterback in the league.
That's an interesting proposition, the whole go after Sanchez thing. That's something that as an Eagles fan, I don't think I would mind in a backup capacity. I think the pressure of him being a quarterback, not only a quarterback, but a highly touted star quarterback, when he first got with the Jets, I just don't think that was anything that he had the fortitude to stomach. So it's an interesting proposition. I'm also not against the whole let Barkley learn and let him be Foles' backup. I'm not against that either. As far as Mike Vick goes, like you said, I was never really, with the idea of him coming to Philly and becoming the starting quarterback in the first place, because I've never really thought that Mike Vick was the quarterback that a lot of people out there think him to be. But as you've stated, you can't buy that heart every day. You can't find that kind of heart every day.
Heart, man.
Shout out to what he does, but the man can't stay on the field, so it's hard to get excited about something when even if he's playing well, it's not going to last. So, I'm kind of glad they're moving on from that chapter as well. But the Desean Jackson thing has gotten interesting because, like we said, the rumors had heated up. They kind of ramped down a little bit. Thought they put it to bed, but now trade partners are coming back out of the woodwork. Actually, the Jets inquired about his trade availability, and now I'm hearing that the Eagles are actually talking to Carolina. I don't know if this means anything, but Desean tweeted a photo of he and Cam Newton, so he may be, he may be resigned to the fact that he may be headed to Carolina.
The Jets,
Steve Smith, or whatever.
Carolina, the Raiders, the Patriots. Teams are coming out of the woodwork. My whole thing with this, to really explain it as close as we can from an analytical perspective and a football perspective, no emotion in it. no, hypeness from the ESPN highlights, Sports Center highlights that he provides, but just real technical breakdown. So here we have a guy who is coming off his best season ever, probably the second best season of an Eagles wide receiver in history from a yardage production standpoint. What can I say about this? $12.5 million against the cap for a guy who runs 3 routes. He runs 3 routes. He runs the 9 route. He runs the 7 route, I believe, which, for purposes of our viewers, he runs a go route, which is Hail Mary, just I'm going to beat you because I'm a faster human being, if I am a human being at all, than you. He runs the post route, and you will see him at times run a very deep cross, or I wouldn't even call it a cross. He'll settle deep on like a comeback. Those are the only routes that I've ever really noticed him running. And in Chip's offense, where you have so many mismatches with the tight ends, with the guy on the other side from D-Jack, and the fact you've got the second or arguably the best running back in the world right now in the backfield, it's hard to balance and game plan to stop just one facet of the Eagles' offense. So Desean benefits from that. Now, truth be told, so does everybody else on the field benefits from him. Benefits from his big play ability, benefits from his speed, but you can't double any one of the Eagles' assets, or you're in a bad position because you're going to get single coverage, and they will find that single coverage. But as we've seen in the past, for more than one season, when you run into a very good, or great NFL defense, you can take Desean Jackson away, because though he takes the top off of the defense, he's not a leaper, and he's not a Randy Moss who's going to catch the ball at its highest point over 2 and 3 guys. So if you bracket him with a safety over the top, or even more rare, you truly have a shutdown corner that he's facing, he can be taken out of games. So to me is not a number one receiver worth $12.5 million of a cap hit. That's a tremendous athlete. He's a tremendous speedster. He's not the greatest route runner, but you wouldn't know it because of his speed. He gets open based solely on speed. So I don't see the technical soundness in his game to say that he's in that elite category of number ones. That being said, if we could have kept him, I'm cool with keeping him, but I'm not heartbroken over losing him, as I see some of Eagles Nation.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, we've had this conversation numerous times over the years, and just listening to how fans kind of revered D-Jack, I always thought that he was a bit overrated. I always thought he was kind of a one-trick pony. Now, at his trick, that one trick that he's good for, his speed makes him an asset on any team.
Can't teach speed.
So, but at the same time, this particular season, he showed me, with this past season, he showed me a little bit more than I was expecting from him. It wasn't just, the deep stuff all the time. I mean, there wasn't much to him after the catch, because we all know that he's a little bit afraid of contact. But
thanks, Donta Robinson. We appreciate it.
He still showed me a little bit more than I was expecting. So, yeah, the same as you just said, I would love to have him back, because I just want to see this offense gel together in a second year to see if it can be even better than it was last year. But at the same time, like you said, you talk about his cap number, and you talk about what we've always thought of him anyway. You talk about the fact that when big games came, whenever the Eagles did make the playoffs, a lot of times he was taken out of the game. It's not one of those things where he's going to leave and I'm going to be a disgruntled Eagles fan for it. The only thing about this whole thing to me is kind of surprising, because I hadn't heard of he and Chip Kelly having a lot of problems. And now the reports that you're hearing, even though you're not hearing it from the receiver or the coach, you're hearing a lot of stuff like Chip Kelly is fed up with this guy. his off the field antics, this and that. And I really didn't know that stuff was there to that level to where here we are right now, where D-Jack could basically be traded at any minute. Actually, by the time you guys see this video, it would have happened by now. So, yeah, it's a surprise. To me, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but you do worry just a little bit. Like, how's our offense going to be without that speedster, that the guy that takes the top off the defense? I mean, Jeremy Maclin, people kind of forget how fast he is because he did a little bit more within the offense and, didn't get to show you as much as Desean Jackson did on the deep route tip. So I don't know. Maybe he can be that guy, with a little bit more to his game, but we'll see, man. We'll see, because I think at this point it's inevitable. So
the speculation, D-Jack has said via social media. I mean, what other medium would a professional athlete use nowadays but social media? That he does not expect to return. I mean, that's what we're hearing. And so that leads us to, how do the Philadelphia Eagles fill that impending void? How do they deal with that? And so there's a couple of things going around. Lines of thought. First being, in the draft, there is a receiver that's at Oregon that probably isn't as fast as D-Jack, but is a 4.3, mid-low 4.3 guy that can take the quote-unquote take the top off of defense. And it's not going to be difficult to bring someone in from college and tell them to run 3 routes, which is go, post, and deep cross. So they're looking at that option. They're also looking in free agent land to find someone with similar skill sets. As I said, I don't know that guy is out there because, quite frankly, I don't really see many people in the NFL or in the world that have that type of speed. He's one of the few guys that, honestly, even at a 4.340, which is what he clocked coming out of college, I actually think he's faster than that. I think that he's fat, like, with a defender on his heels. Dude's speed is unreal. There's no one in the league that I see with that.
He looks like he's jogging a lot of the times when the defender is busting his ass to catch up to him.
Right. So it's going to be difficult to replace that facet, but I just don't see enough. Chip expects his receivers to block. That's a big thing with Chip. Blocking on the edges, because they run so much of that trap, zone read stuff, and get McCoy on the edge. And Desean ain't blocking nobody. And so that's something that no one is really commenting on or talking about, because I guess they look at the cost-benefit analysis and say, well, he does so much else. Who cares if he blocks? But that's a big part of what Chip asks his receivers to do. And I know that was a big issue. That was a big issue. He's not going to be a blocker.
Does he do so much else, though? All right. Well, look, we're going to wrap it up here. Basically, we want to get you guys' opinion on it. So, if you're watching this video, make sure you subscribe to the page first so you know whenever a video is coming out. Like the video, but most importantly, comment on the video. And if you're an Eagles fan, that's even better. Eagles Nation, we want to hear from you. Does the loss of one, Michael Vick, which we all expected and kind of knew was going to happen, but does that loss bother you? 2, does the impending loss, or like we said, by the time you see this video, it might have been done. So does the loss of Desean Jackson bother you? Let us know why. Leave comments, and we'll comment with you, get into a little dialogue, and see if we can sort this thing out between Eagles Nation. So
add us.
Definitely. Add us. Check out everything we're doing at warroomsports.com. You can add us on Twitter at warroomsports. Same thing on Facebook, facebook.com/warroomsports. Get into these conversations. Let's talk, people. And for my man B. Austin, I'm Devin. This has been another few good minutes in the War Room. Not another, but a few good minutes in the War Room. We got so many shows, I get it mixed up sometimes. But like we always tell you guys, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance.
Yo, I'm not going to see you chumps on top because I'm not going to be looking down.
away, it's the war room. With 5 nights at the round table, 5 Philly guys diversified and educated.